China has form in this area in the past. So if we look at the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, where the Soviet Union was trying to place missiles in Cuba, and the then President John F. Kennedy was dealing with that crisis, the world, and indeed particularly the United States, was very distracted from that. China used that distraction and invaded India. So they've done it before, and you could argue that the world is even more distracted now than it was in 1962. We have a major ground war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, and let's not forget that Russia is China's no-limits partner, and President Putin and other dictators are in Beijing right now for President Xi Jinping's signature 10th anniversary of his Belt and Road initiative. Then, we've just seen over the past week, we have Hamas terrorists and Islamic Jihad brutally attacking and killing a number of Israeli civilians, by and large, mostly civilians, which began with, an attack on an outdoor music festival with a number of teenagers. In fact, the death toll was over 260 teenage civilians being killed, and a number of more captured. This regional war now in the Middle East looks like it could very well expand. You've got Hezbollah terrorists up in the north of Israel in Lebanon, and they're backed by Iran, just as Hamas is backed by Iran. You've got Syria doing their saber rattling, and you have, of course, Iran itself, who are the primary benefactors and funders of all of the terrorist activity that we see in the Middle East. And let's just step back again. I mentioned Russia and China's relationship. Let's step back and have a look at who is Iran's largest funding source. Well, it happens to be China. China buys the majority of Iran's sanctioned oil, so to enable Iran to get around the international sanctions on their oil, and China buys it and buys it at a discount. And therefore, a lot of funding is coming in from Iran by China. And, we see the anti-Israeli statements coming out from China as well. So it's the battle lines are drawn very clearly if you just want to take a look at them. And it seems Australia does not wish to take a look at what is going on in the world. I'm not quite sure what our Foreign Minister Penny Wong is doing. I'm not quite sure what our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is doing, other than dividing and weakening our country instead of Australia being cohesive, which is exactly what we need to be in this dangerous period. The government has achieved the exact opposite, which is a shame. And, certainly in my lifetime, and you can reflect back on your lifetime, but I've not seen a more destructive government, a more divisive government, which is a real shame. That's not generally what you do when you elect a government. And so, look, things are dire. And I think we need to wake up